Welcome to the lecture number 5 of Parts of Speech. In this lecture, we will cover the verb, its example, and along with some of its types. For the noun and pronoun, please watch the previous videos. Now, what is a verb? According to our previous understanding, we know that verb is simply an action performed by a subject. Now move toward the formal definition. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates action or a state of being or condition. For example, Mark eats his dinner quickly. In this sentence, eats is simply a verb because it is an action performed by Mark, who is a subject. In second example, we went to the market. In this example, went is a verb because it is an action. There are different type of verbs and I have divided them into 21 types. Although there are different subtypes are included, but I want you to understand all the minor details of all the types. We will discuss them one by one with teaching with equal length to all of them. The first is the main and basic verb. Then regular, irregular, transitive, intransitive, weak and strong verbs respectively. You can see all the other remaining types. We will discuss them one by one. The first one is the main verb. Main verb is actually the basic form of verb. It is not attached by the inflectional morpheme. It is free. The formal definition is the base form is a form of verb where it has no ending, mean it is not ended by ing, ed or en. It has no specific ending. For example, I go to school every day. In this example, go is the basic or the main verb because it is not ended with any ing, ed or en. The second example is you run a mile every morning. Similarly, in this example, run is the main verb. Now, the second type is regular verb. Regular verbs actually show the regularity when they converted into the past tense. Regular verbs are the verbs whose past tense versions are formed by adding an ed to the end, such as walk, climb, decide, describe. All these can be converted into their past tense simply adding ed at the end, such as walk will become walked, climbed, decided, described, dropped, wanted, etc. These types of verbs show regularity in their behavior. For example, she walked to school. The walk is converted into the walked by simply adding ed at the end. So that's why it's called the regular verb. And next, the third type is directly opposite to the regular verb, and these are called as irregular verbs. Irregular verbs is defined as a verb that does not follow the usual rules of grammar. For example, eat is an irregular verb because its past tense is ate and its past participle is eaten, not eaten. So it is clear from the example that these irregular verbs does not show the regular behavior when they were converted into past participle. For example, she drove all the way back. The drove show that this is irregular behavior and hence we call it as an irregular verb. The fourth type is transitive verb. What is transitive verb? A transitive verb can take more than one object. Actually, transitive verb need the assistance of an object for the conveyance of their meaning. For example, Donovan gives his sister a laptop. In this sentence, there is an indirect object, his sister, and a direct object, a laptop. So it is clear that for a transitive verb, the object is necessary for its assistance. Now, the fifth type is intransitive verb, which is exactly opposite to the transitive verb. because it does not need any object to convey its meaning. A verb that does not need a direct object to complete its meaning is called an intransitive verb. For example, I laughed, John ran. They complete their meaning. The listener can understand the meaning without the assistance of an object. The sixth type is weak verbs. Weak verbs sometimes called the regular verb, but not all the times. Verbs that end with d and t in their past indefinite and past participle form are the weak verbs. What are past indefinite or the past participle forms? We will discuss them later on. Now, for your understanding, it is enough. For example, spent is converted into spent. The T at the end in the past indefinite form shows that it is a weak verb. Similarly, walked, booked, learnt, and wanted, all these five words are ended at D or either at T. So they all are weak verbs. And some of them, like walked, booked, and wanted, are regular verbs. The seventh type is strong verbs. Strong verbs are somehow related to the irregular verbs because they show irregularity in their behavior. For example, for the understanding of the strong verbs are those in which the vowels in the verb stem changes from I to A to U. In the present indefinite to past indefinite to past participle form of verbs. For better understanding, here I have added a table which shows that ring is converted into rang and then rung. Drink, drank, and drunk. All these are show the change in their behavior, show the change in the spelling, the move towards I to A and then to U. So they are called the strong verbs and are related to irregular verbs. Now the next type is finite verbs. Finite verbs actually follow the subject verb agreement rules. Finite verbs are the actual verbs that are called the root of the sentences. It is a form of a verb that is performed by or refers to a subject and uses one of the 12 forms of tense and changes according to the number or person of the subject. For example, he goes to gym daily. I go to school regularly. In these two sentences, goes and go changes according to the subject of a sentence. So they represent finite verbs. The next type of a verb is infinite verbs. Infinite verbs are the verbs that does not show tense. A non-finite verb is a verb form that does not show tense. A non-finite verb is never the main verb in a sentence. The form of non-finite verb are infinitive, gerund, and participle. We will discuss them one by one. The first one is infinitive. The basic form of a verb that usually follows to are the infinitive verbs. Whenever there is a to before a verb, then it will be a infinitive verb. For example, I wanted to help you out. Are you trying to go there? In these two sentences, to help and to go shows the infinitive verb because there is a to before the verb. So they are infinitive verb. The second is gerund. The verb having ing ending that function like noun in sentence are called gerunds. When the verb along with the ing they work as a noun, they will be called gerunds. For example, smoking is injurious to health. Walking is good for health. These two sentences, smoking and walking, these are called the gerunds because they are with ing and are working as a noun. The third one is Participle. The participles are divided into three participles. The first one is present participle. When verb with ing is used, then we will call it as present participle. For example, have I become a laughing stock? In this example, laughing is a form of verb which is used with ing, so it is a present participle. Second example is cycling is a well-rounded exercise. Like first example, in the second example, cycling is a present participle because of its verb with ing. Now next is the past participle. Past participle is simply the second form of verb. For example, I have taken a hint. Have you given it enough thought? In these two examples, second form of verb is used like taken and given. The final one is perfect participle, and it is formed when we use having with past participle, means having with second form of verb. For example, having said that, I was quite worried. In this example, having is used and along with past participle. Similarly, in the second example, having stepped out of my comfort zone, I saw a whole new world. This also follow the rules of the perfect participle. It is enough for the today's lecture. For the remaining type of verb, watch my next video. For any queries, please ask in the comment section. If you like my video, please subscribe and share. Thanks for watching.